This is Steve's admission to what he had done. Okay, page 7. What I had done was eating me up inside. I had to talk to someone, so I asked my brother Brian to walk with me to the gym. What I really wanted was to be alone with one person I knew I could trust. As we walked to the gym, I confided in him everything I had done and swore him to secrecy. That was the day I lost my little brother. We have not seen or spoken to each other in more than 30 years. It's real hard to talk about. He wanted me to respond to that, and I'm not going to. I refuse, absolutely refuse to talk to Steve. He doesn't care about how I feel. It's all about him. What about how he made me feel, how he hurt me, how he didn't put none of that. He lied to me for 34 years and he's just gonna write a little paragraph. Just a little paragraph for 34 years of pain and people calling me a liar. The last thing that I'll ever do is talk to him again. Steve wanted me to keep it secret, but I tell you what, I shouldn't have. There's so much that I have to tell you. I want to share this with everybody. I want everybody that said that I was lying, that I wasn't telling the truth about my brother. Now, it's all out. It's hard to talk about, but I'm glad I am. There's so much. I have so much more. There's just so much. We're living at Reese Air Force Base in Lubbock, Texas. My stepdad, he was in the military. My mom, she has 5 kids by 5 different men. And Steve was definitely her favorite out of all of us. I was a year younger than Steve. When we were kids, slept in the same room, went to the same school. We did everything together. We were inseparable. I looked at him like he was a role model.
I can't figure this out. Let me take a look.
He was very intelligent when he came to school. He got really good grades and everything. And when he'd help me with my homework, it made me feel real good. I felt that, he loved me. I admired my brother, and I wanted to be a lot like him.
How's it going in here?
He's getting it, right? I think so.
But he was born with a problem.
This one.
He was definitely wired different than everybody else. I want the world to know that, Steve, the word I'm gonna use is a psycho. I look back on things, and there's so many things that he did. There's just no way he could love us and do what he's done. I did not like to get in trouble at all. I always did everything I could to stay out of trouble, but he lived to create trouble. I mean, this was a literally daily basis. Me and Steve shared a room. I was in that room at the time playing with my toys, and Mom walks in with Steve, and she's just yelling at the top of her lungs at him.
What is the matter with you?
So I stopped playing, and I just sat there wondering what's going on. She was yelling, I can't believe you did this. You're in so much trouble. You just wait till your dad gets home. What has gotten into you? I was confused. I didn't know what she was talking about. Once Dad got home, I heard my mom and Dad both saying something about a barbershop. Took a rock, broke the window, got in there, broke the mirrors, broke the glass, and just tore the place apart. My dad was asking him questions about what he had done. Steve didn't say one single word.
Is that true?
Hey, I'm talking to you.
Steve had no emotion. He just looked straight ahead. He didn't look at them when they were talking to him. They would repeatedly say, "Look at me," and he didn't.
You know he can press charges, right?
It's like he didn't care. He looked like a shark. Like when a shark, its eyes don't move. It's just black and cold and calculating. When they left, I asked him specifically what happened, and he says it's just something to do.
Are you mad at him or something?
Nah, just bored.
For a kid that age to break into a place and just tear it up, has issues. Steve had no respect for authority whatsoever. Steve was going to do what Steve wanted to do, and no matter what the repercussions of it would be, punishment had no effect on Steve. I can remember one time we were at Reese Air Force Base there in Lubbock, Texas. They have this youth center that's on the military bases for kids to go. This was a Saturday night, and Steve wanted to go to this little dance they were having at the youth center. And Dad said no because he had to get up and go work early the next morning. But he wasn't going to listen to nobody, including my father. And Steve gets up, gets dressed, and tells me, "Hey, look out for me. I'm getting ready to go to this dance."
But Dad said you can't.
So?
You're gonna get called.
He told me not to say anything. I did ask him, I says, "What if Dad comes in here?" Exact words. And he says, "Just don't tell him anything." And he opened up the window, climbed up the window, and went. Dad happened to come back in our room to check up on us. Steve was gone. And Dad's like, "Where's he at?"
So he went anyway.
I didn't say nothing to him. Dad knew. And he said, "Let's go." I had my pajamas on. We drove over there. Dad told me to go in and get him. I was very humiliated to walk in there in my pajamas and no shoes on. I couldn't believe Dad made me do that. So we get home. I'm scared as hell because Dad's really mad. And has the belt. And starts spanking Steve. Steve, nothing. No tears, nothing. Nothing whatsoever. Just, he took it. And I used to wonder how he could be so strong.
Now get in that bed.
Once it's all over with between him and Dad, Dad tells him, "Take your ass to bed." And he walks out and slams the door. I just turn and I look at Steve. He's just looking just dead at me. And I'm just like looking away. And he's like, I turn back and look and he's just still staring at me. He did that literally for about 30 minutes. It scared the hell out of me. His eyes didn't even blink. He was just looking at me. I wanted to say I didn't do it, but I knew better than to say anything because he was angry. My parents didn't know what to do with Steve. They tried medication, they tried counseling, but things just kept getting worse and worse. These pictures bring back bad memories. I had to be in the 7th or 8th grade, and Steve was either in the 8th or 9th grade. He was a hell of an athlete at this age right here. Every time he touched the ball, he'd score a touchdown. This is where he really started to shine and have his name in the paper, and Mom, she was very proud of him at this age. But at this age is where he really changed. He became very abusive. Didn't matter where we was at, church, school, gym, anywhere where there's something there, he tried to steal it. I was always there to look out for him, even though I didn't want to. when I look at the picture and I look at the eyes, I can feel how I used to feel. I can feel that right now. I was so scared of him at this age because he'd intimidate me. We moved to Shepherd Air Force Base in Wichita Falls, Texas. We'd be at school. We have PE together, and he'd want to go back into the locker room and check people's clothes for money. And he, say, look out for me.
You just need to keep watch.
As I got older, it bothered me. I tried a couple of times to tell him that I'm not going to look out for him.
Come on, man, I don't want to keep doing this.
But let's just put it this way. If I didn't do something to help him, I'd pay for it dearly.
He's such a wimp.
I told him I'm not going to do it, and he got very angry with me. I turned around to walk out, and he just hit me in the back and knocked the breath out of me. I fell down on the ground and couldn't even breathe for a minute. He hurt me. That's when I realized I did not have a choice. I'm going to have to do what he asked.
Now keep an eye on that door.
Every day it was something with Steve. Every single day, Steve was out of control, and I was totally powerless to stop him from doing everything that he was doing. Not everybody saw the monster in Steve like I did. I was there. I know what he was capable of. Everywhere that we ever lived, there's always sparrow cats everywhere on a military base. Steve would take firecrackers, get some string or twine or something, then put it on the cat, and he'd light it on fire and pow. Sometimes the cat would die, sometimes it wouldn't.
All right, new football, go.
One time, it was Christmas. We opened our gifts at about 5 a.m. and, we had a football. We went outside, just me and Steve, throwing a football to each other, and the cat just walks up to be petted. And he just picks it up and just breaks its neck like it's nothing and throws it down. He totally caught me off guard with it. I was thinking, my God, he just killed that cat. It was just a kitten. Steve, when he did it, had no conscience. That's the part I didn't understand about him. No conscience. When I looked at his eyes, there was emptiness. He didn't say nothing to me about it. He went through the day like as if nothing had happened.
Come on, man, ball.
I did tell Mom, but I didn't say that Steve picked it up and broke its neck. I just said there's a dead cat out there. My parents were in there cooking Christmas dinner, and everybody was happy. Everybody was playing with their toys, and I just didn't want, it would have caused a really big commotion. That wasn't the only time that he killed the cat. He'd take a BB gun, put his foot on the cat to hold it down, and put the BB gun to the cat's head and pull the trigger. I'd be like, don't, Steve, don't. He wouldn't say nothing. He'd just do it. He wanted me to watch to show me that he has no problem going to that next level. It really bothered me. It got to me really, really bad.
All right, I'll go inside.
I was thinking if he has the nerve, the guts to do something like that, I just, worried about myself and my siblings. Steve enjoyed hurting people. Do you mind if I tell you a story? There was one time we just got through with football practice, and this kid was in his wheelchair, and he was going across the basketball court. Hold this. And there's this machine that shoots balls. You can shoot them up to 70 miles per hour. And Steve took these tennis balls and stuck them in the machine. I was thinking to myself, he really is going to shoot him with that. And he did. Steve one of them met it and hit him in the chest, and he just flipped out of the wheelchair, and he kept shooting him. And the guy was just begging, "Please stop, Steve, please."
No more. Please.
And he just kept pow, 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 hitting him. He didn't care. He just was doing it to make everybody laugh. He was feeding off the laughter.
Look at him.
He had a real big smile on his face, and he went over there and pulled up the boy's shirt to see all the bruises. He enjoyed humiliating and hurting the kid.
Let's get out of here.
The school, the principals, and all of them, they knew a lot about a lot of the things that were happening because the kids would go tell them. Yeah, but Steve was a really good athlete, and he got away with a lot of things because of that fact.
You alright, man?
There's a big game coming up. They need him to be on the field. He was the big man on campus, but he didn't have no friends, per se. People were afraid of him, and the older he got, the worse it got. Steve would target girls that were loners, that kept to themselves. He'd do really bad things to them. I mean, we're talking 12-year-old girls. We had an open campus during lunchtime, and there was this girl that was in my grade. She was a loner. She kept to herself. We were sitting there eating lunch, and he noticed this girl that was by herself.
Hey, stay here. Tell if anybody's coming. Where you going?
And that's when he told me. He said, "I'm gonna go get her." I'm watching. I'm the lookout. Steve walked up to her, grabbed her. He takes her behind the curtain. I was very naive at the time, and I didn't understand what was going on. The girl would come from behind the curtains crying and take off running. He did that with every girl that he ever took back there. He forced himself on them. I felt so sorry for the girls. I wanted to reach out to the girls and say something, but I couldn't. I was afraid. If I would have said something, maybe they would have punished him. I just felt like if I would have said something, things would have been a lot different. We moved to Aviano Air Force Base in Italy. Each place that we lived at, it didn't last 1 week when we were there before he was in some kind of big trouble. He grabbed a woman's breast, and the woman, of course, went to the police. And bear in mind, this was our first week in Italy. When the police came to pick Steve up, to take him in, I was in the room, and I heard everything. They told my parents what had happened. They need to take him in and, I guess, book him or whatever they're going to do. And Steve was there, and he didn't say nothing. He was just being his normal self, just looking off to space. I saw Steve get put in handcuffs. I saw Steve get taken down to the police car. But the trouble that he got into didn't last long. It went away real quick because of sports. Football season was starting, and they just sweep it under the rug. When we were in Italy, that's when he really started to lose his mind. There was a girl that was in my class. She was a very, very nice girl.
You're home. What happened?
It's fine. They dropped the charges.
The girl's mother got in contact with my mother after we had left Italy. And the mother told my mom that her daughter committed suicide because of what Steve was doing to her. Oh my God, I was in shock, but he didn't care. I couldn't believe it. I was like, God, how much more can he do? Once we left Aviano to come to Travis Air Force Base here, that violence in him came out. It was a Friday night. We had a football game. We was playing. Steve had a real good game.
Yo, man. Can't believe how good you were in that game.
Steve comes up to me and he says, "Look, check this out. Look at at that guy talking to my girl. Steve had this little girlfriend that was at the football game. And she was standing up at this fence talking to this dude. Steve put on his helmet, strapped it up real tight, and said, "Watch this." And he took off running full speed and just put his head down. The guy didn't have no clue what was about to happen to him. He turned around right at the last second. People started screaming. He really hit that guy hard. Helmet right into the guy's forehead. The guy fell down and started rolling, holding his head, and blood was just gushing. Sheriff's deputies ran over there. One of them grabbed Steve. Steve grabbed him, threw him down. The other one grabbed him and couldn't hold on to him. Steve got back on top of that guy. And it took about 5 or 6 of us to get Steve off that guy. I never seen Steve ever like that before. He was so upset. He could have really killed that guy. And all he was doing was talking to his girlfriend. Everybody saw it. Think he got in trouble? Nope. He didn't. The sheriffs didn't press charges or nothing. The school didn't want to hold Steve accountable for anything that he did because he was a good football player. I asked him, I said, "Are you crazy? Man, why'd you throw that cop down?" He's just like, "He's in my way." He's just, no expression, nothing. That's when I knew that he has it in him to really do some damage to somebody and take their life. I had a job. I had access to money. Steve, he didn't. And the only way he could get it was to steal it. And as time went on, it just got bigger and bigger and bigger. And the stealing just got worse. One night, we walked up to the school. He said, "I got something special to show you." He pulls out this huge crowbar. He took the crowbar and broke a window out. I was scared out of my mind. I thought, when he broke the window, I thought somebody would definitely have heard that.
What are you doing?
He went in there, got the safe, this big safe. He's struggling with it. So I helped him get it out. And I'm like, "Where'd you get this from?" He said, "The principal's office."
In the car.
Put it down. He tries to open it. Busts it open. It had over $2,000 in it. He hands me about $100, and he keeps all the rest. And Steve started stealing bigger things, like a motorcycle, money from our neighbors. 90% of the time, he never got caught because I was looking out for him. The reason that I went along with Steve is because I was scared. I felt that I had to do it or there'd be repercussions for it. Obsession for money for Steve meant that he'd get it any way he could. Yeah, I know he was really desperate, but I didn't think he was desperate enough to kill. When Steve went off to college, I thought for sure he'd stop. He's going to concentrate on sports and do well. I just knew that he'd stop, and he didn't. Steve was actively being recruited by bigger schools other than Chico State.
I don't understand why you even want to go there.
But he chose Chico because Chico in Playboy magazine was the #1 party school.
Regardless, I have to get an apartment.
And he was trying to tell my parents that he didn't want to stay on campus, that he wanted to stay off campus, and that he needed X amount of dollars for this to happen.
Do what you want to do, but we're not paying rent for you.
And they said, "No, you got a free ride to school. Why don't you stay on the campus so you don't have to pay?" And that's not something that he wanted to do. That's where I came into the picture. I had a job, I had a check, steady check coming in.
How about you? Want to help me out?
Sure. How much you need?
And I helped him. It's the worst thing I could have ever done. I shouldn't have done it. That's when it all went to hell. Okay, so Steve came home for New Year's. It was right around that time frame. And and him went to a gym one night.
You're right, you've been quiet all day.
When we were walking home, he told me, I have something to tell you. It's something that I did, and you can't tell nobody.
What stays between us? Got it?
Yeah, of course, man.
And I'm like, okay. I'm thinking, he done broke into something, or, that's what I'm thinking. And he's like, I really messed up. And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, I took some people's lives.
I killed some people.
I'm thinking he's joking. I asked him who were the people that he murdered. He said the people that hired me to work at their house to mow their lawn. He got behind on payments, on rent. He had a bunch of hot checks out there. The school's employment department found him a job cutting grass. They lived in a prominent neighborhood. That's why he targeted them. And he said, I needed money. And the only thing I could think of was to go rob them. And he starts telling me in detail what he did. He told me the lady answered the door. He rushed in, got her down on the ground, and she was screaming. Her husband heard. He was in a wheelchair. He comes in there. Steve takes a fire extinguisher, hits him upside the head a bunch of times. Put a pillowcase over his head and tied him up. He had Mrs. Chiapella write a check. He said it took her like 3 times to get it right because she was so scared. Her hands were shaking. He told me he stabbed the man first so many times. He said that the man wouldn't die. He just kept making sounds. He just wouldn't die. Mrs. Chiapella was in a different room. He stabbed her so hard that he stood on the knife. I was just listening. He was just telling me everything. I feel my heart rate going up. My mind is going real fast. I didn't know if he was being serious or not. I couldn't tell. And he kept asking me, do you think I'm gonna get caught?
Do you think the cops will figure it out?
He says I tried to cover up my tracks in order to try to throw the people off. He wrote on the mirrors, this is just the beginning, with her lipstick. And he pushed the skirt up to make it look like there was a sexual assault or something like that. I felt sick to my stomach. And there was a long pause. That's when he started saying, I'm just joking. I'm just joking. None of that really happened.
Relax, man. I'm just kidding.
Real fun.
But he never joked like that with me. Never. So I didn't know. We kept walking, and he tried to change the subject on something else. I didn't know what to believe. That night, I laid down to go to bed. I was trying to convince myself he's just joking. I didn't know. I didn't know whether to believe him or not. Just didn't know. We woke up early on that Saturday morning. My mom came into our room with the newspaper and she says, hey Steve, some people got killed up at your college.
Did you hear about this?
And she started reading the article. Everything that his mom read in that paper is what he told me.
This is right by you, isn't it?
Yeah. That's crazy.
That's what it's like, oh my God. Something did happen. I turn and I look at him. He makes eye contact with me. He shakes his head no. And him shaking his head no to me was to let me know, don't say anything, please. After she walks out, that's when I pulled him off to the side.
You gotta tell him what you told me.
I begged him, you need to tell Mom and Dad what's going on. He said, no. Don't you say anything to them about it. I still was in disbelief.
Steve, just keep your mouth shut.
And I was like, did you really do this? That's when he said no again.
I didn't have anything to do with it.
In my heart, I just didn't want to believe it. That's all. I just couldn't. He couldn't have done this. He couldn't have. There's no way. He couldn't have killed them people. The church that we go to, they call all sinners forward at the end of the service for them to be prayed for. Me and Steve used to laugh at people that used to walk up there.
I now ask that those of us amongst us guilty of sin come forward.
But Steve walked up there that Sunday. He was crying. He never cries. Steve never cried. That's the very first time I've ever seen him cry. I'm sitting there in shock. I couldn't believe it. I just couldn't believe it. I could not believe it. It all hit me right then. I was just like, oh my God, Steve really did this.
I'm going to ask you to pray for these sinners.
That's what I knew, without a doubt. The next day he went back to school. Before he left, he gave me a hug and he made it seem like there was nothing to worry about. After school, I went to play video games at my sister's boyfriend's.
Pause it, man. I gotta get the phone.
While I was playing video games, I heard the phone ring, and he picked it up.
Hello?
And he's like, ho, just calm down. He's like, your mom.
Mom?
I get on the phone, Mom, she's in panic. Like, get home now. And I'm like, what's going on? She's like, just come, I need you here right now. She says, please. I just put the phone down and I ran. And it was about a good mile to the house, and I ran that mile so fast. I had no clue what was going on. Once I get around this big curve, I see all these cop cars at my house. And then I see my mom. She's on the ground. I went to go down and help my mom. I grabbed her by her head and I says, Mom, are you okay? And she couldn't talk. She just shook her head. She's having a heart attack. They take her in an ambulance. A cop pulls me to the side. He told me that my brother's in jail for murder. The next day, the paper gets delivered. And it's got a picture of him in handcuffs with a big ass smile on his face. Knowing that Steve was guilty just hurt my heart. It hurt so bad. I hate this picture. This picture brought so much pain and hurt. It makes me so mad. I can't believe that he's smiling after what he's done. This is how he used to look when he had a good play on the football field. He's a very evil man. And this picture shows how evil he really is. He killed 2 people, and he's walking out with a big ass smile on his face, as if though he's done nothing. When I first walked up to the jail, his facial expression was like nothing that I'd really never seen before. He looked scared. I pick up the phone, and before he gets on the phone to talk to me, he looks at me and he just shakes his head no. Like that, he didn't want me to say nothing. He wanted me to be quiet about everything that he had told me. He was telling people that he was innocent. We started talking about regular things. He was asking me about school. I didn't know what to say. I just kept looking at him, and he just kept shaking his head. No, don't, no. and she lost her life to my brother. He's a very distinguished looking man. He was a doctor. He delivered so many babies, helped so many people. They look so happy together. My God, Steve is he's a piece of. How could he do this to these people? Over $3,000. He didn't have to kill these people for that. I can't help but feel guilt for what my brother did to these people. I'm so sorry. So sorry for what my brother has done to you and your family. I'm so sorry. When I found out, in my mind I'm thinking, whew, man, what a relief. That's what I was saying to myself. I think he would have been a serial killer, to be quite honest with you. If he could do that, what's to say that he wouldn't just kill anybody else? He deserved to be put to death for killing them people. He pleads guilty and sends the victims a letter saying everything that he did. I kept reading, and I'm like, wow, he said it. He said that he done it. And when I read all that, I got so emotional. I got up and just started walking, and I was, just thinking to myself, he told the truth. He finally told the truth. I can't believe it. 34 years it took him to tell the truth, but the only reason Steve told the truth was to save his butt from the death penalty. To the Chiapella family, I can't imagine the enormous amount of pain I have caused your family. I violently murdered your parents for no reason other than me trying not to be caught because of your mother and father would recognize me. I hate reading this. There's no sincerity in this at all. None. This whole thing that I have right here in my hand is a bunch of bull. He deserves to lose his life for what he did. It was a horrible, horrible crime that he committed. To me, that whole confession was to save his own butt. To that end, it did work. It saved his life. When everything went down with my brother, nobody wanted to have anything to do with me. I'm a senior in high school. I was being recruited by Division II schools to play football. All that went away. I didn't know what to do. I was lost. I was so lost. I was not wired to be a bad person. Me and Steve are nothing alike. When I started stealing and acting out, I was trying to prove something to myself, just to prove that I'm better than he is. One day, I took the crowbar and opened up the Coke machine, and I took the money out of there, and I got caught. My choice was to go to jail or go in the military. Next thing I know, I'm going to Navy boot camp. That was one of the best things that ever happened to me because I learned my lesson. I went in the military, I got a good education, I made a good life for myself. I can't forget my brother. There's just no way. But I want to see Steve one last time. There's just something that I want to tell him. Tell him that I'm not scared of him anymore. And I have something that he'll never have. I have kids, I have grandkids, I have a beautiful family. And this is something nobody can take away from me. It's something that he'll never have. And I want to let him know I won. I won for once.
This is Jen's interview, take 14, marker.
It hurts a lot to think how my husband had changed so much. When the detectives were talking to me, I needed a moment and they had to leave me alone, and I nearly had a seizure. I feel like just lucky to be alive. It's a big loss. I still think about it. Like every day. My smiles are fake. I think I need a little break. I just need a little break. I cannot change it. It's over with. I cannot change it. I can't. And it's not my fault.
George Izagiri has died in what appears to be a suicide.
George took his secrets to the grave, and I have a really bad feeling that George killed more people than what we're aware of. I lived with a killer, and now I have nothing but questions about how many things he did. George and I met through being neighbors, essentially. He lived right upstairs, and he was the weed guy. I needed to get away from my bad ex. He went to jail, and I finally realized that I could get my locks changed.
Just go away. I told you, we're over.
When George came knocking on the door, I told him that I had kicked my boyfriend out.
Oh, sorry, George.
Is everything okay in here? Where's,
He said he always wondered why I was with him. And so that to me was like, oh, he's been noticing me.
I always thought you could do a lot better.
Yeah?
It was an instant attraction.
You want any help packing up his stuff?
He would do things like cook for me and really just was so sweet that I was a bit swept off my feet.
Does this mean that you're free tonight?
Maybe?
He would just, suggest that we snuggle and watch a movie and cuddle up together and order pizza or drink a beer, and he just made it seem so fun, and he always knew what to say.
It's him again.
George actually answered the phone when my ex was harassing me. He was calling me over and over and threatening me, and George was like, hey, I'm her new guy, leave her alone, and it actually worked. It made me think, man, he's so right, like, can this be real?
Anytime you need help, you can call me.
Okay.
We started living together after only knowing each other for about a month. He just wanted me to move in. He told me to quit my job at Burger King. He was like, get a job you like, I'll pay the rent, it's okay.
We spend most of our time together anyway.
My gut had told me that I was moving in with him too soon, and I thought it might be a sign of him trying to control me. I thought, well, if I don't have my own income and he's paying rent, then if he decides to break up with me or something, I'll have nothing.
I can't ask you to do that.
I'm not trying to pressure you or anything.
But I did not follow my gut. It was easy because it was just right upstairs, and I might as well save the money. And I just felt very supported. I believed him, even though I should not have given up my independence so quickly. If I could have seen the red flags and done something about it, then I would have stayed more independent, because once I moved in with him, things definitely changed. I think that there was a lot of signs that George was pretty controlling. I had 2 cats. When I moved in with him, I had asked if they could come with me, of course, and he didn't express that he had a problem with it. And then when I moved in, it was like a constant bickering about it. Like, he hated them being on the furniture. This is not what he wanted. He wanted me to live there, not my cats. It was about this time that I started to see a side of George I had not seen before. One day, I walked in from work and I went in my bedroom. I saw him on all fours and he has the taser in his hand.
I said get over here, you little bitch.
George!
And he's trying to continue tasing the cat that's hiding from him under the bed.
What the hell are you doing? Leave her alone!
Just relax. She's fine.
He is smiling. His eyes are big. I think he likes torture. That was really scary. I was like shaking, like, please don't. He tried to just laugh it off like it doesn't really hurt, like I can tase myself right now. I'll tase you, like so you can see it doesn't hurt. And I'm like, no.
But this doesn't even hurt. Come here, let me show you.
Get the hell away from me!
I didn't understand why he liked to pick on things smaller than him. He's kind of a monster in a way, but I didn't want to believe that. I kind of was trying to live in a fairy tale.
I'm sick of them.
What?
And that's one of my defense mechanisms in my head, is to like build up the good things about a person and kind of look past the bad. And I don't do that anymore.
They're animals. They belong outside.
He started to convince me that cats are wild animals. Should let them go in the woods and they'll be fine.
But they're not wild.
Relax.
I had a hard time believing that.
No.
They'll be fine.
And I was very emotional. I put up a pretty big fight about it.
Please, George.
I'm crying. I'm begging him. He didn't care. He didn't comfort me. It almost felt like he was going to kick me out if I kept the cats.
Are you even listening to me?
I felt like I was facing homelessness.
If you don't want to stay here anymore, that's fine. If you do want to stay, the cats have to go.
He got to a point where he's like, this is happening.
Pack them up.
We're doing it. They'll be fine. I was just crying quietly and petting my cat goodbye, pretty much. I'd hope that they'd find a safer home nearby. I don't know if they made it, or if someone did take them in. I always hoped that that's what it was, that they were in somebody's house. But I'm pretty sure if I would have kept the cats, George would have killed them. George was a lot nicer after I got rid of the cats, and then he distracted me by buying me a puppy. He melted my heart with that. It felt like kind of back to the beginning of how it was when I would just come up to his apartment. But it was about this time when I started to see different signs. George had a big collection of knives. He had one that was like that long. He had one that was just really sharp and little. But I'd say his everyday knife was the butterfly knife. And he liked to play with his knives a lot. He knew how to flip it in a way that he could just play with it and roll it around his fingers as like a nervous habit. I didn't really understand that. Like, what are you contemplating while you fidget with that? My brother likes knives and isn't a bad person, and I didn't necessarily think of it as too much of a problem. But George's temper changed a lot. It was like ups and downs.
What are you doing home already?
I left early.
Why?
Something happened.
George had a few different jobs, but the longest job he had during our relationship was at a beanbag factory. And one day, he was really mad at work, and George just sliced and diced a whole pile of beanbags.
I got a little angry. Not a big deal.
I was really scared to find out he could lose his temper like that at work. To just start stabbing things so destructively. There were times I was worried George might hurt people at work because he would come home ranting and raving about how lazy certain people were.
The people I work with are morons.
And those people probably were in danger.
Are you gonna get fired?
No one saw anything.
I didn't know what to do about it. I couldn't change what he did. I tried to understand him and didn't really recognize how serious it was that he's stabbing things at work. To be honest, I probably should have known he was capable of being a killer. Once he started drinking more, the way he treated me definitely changed. When I found a job at a pet store that I loved, I thought it was great. They also paid for me to go to college and get certified in pet nutrition. So it felt like I was becoming educated, and it was definitely going in the right direction. But he didn't like that. I think he wanted me to stay at a certain level. He said things under his breath about me quite often that were pretty scary.
I might have to stay late after my class to meet up with my study group. A few of us were talking about going down to the shelter to volunteer.
Never shuts the hell up. Never a damn piece of quiet.
A lot of times under his breath, he would say, I wish she would just shut the up.
I'm so sick of this.
I wish I could sew her mouth shut, or I should strangle that bitch. Who does she think she is?
George?
What?
What did you say?
He wasn't saying it to me, but I knew it was about me. And so it scared me a lot.
Nothing. Just talking to myself.
I've said to him, I don't know what you said when you were walking away, but it sounded like a threat to me. And he would say, well, when I get pissed, I just talk I'm not going to do anything about it. You're fine. I think that I was safe by being agreeable.
Are you mad at me or something?
Just go to bed. I'm going to take a shower.
It's hard to think about because it seems like I felt threatened enough by him to be quiet. It was a Christmas party for his job at the beanbag factory. And we were at the work party sitting at our table, and one of the bosses was on the microphone, and he was calling people up to select random prizes off of a table.
A little gesture of appreciation to mark 5 years of hard work.
And then he announced that he'd be giving out a bonus and said George's name.
Oh yeah, give it up to George. Thank you, George. Your hard work has not gone unnoticed.
George went up, and it was a large-sized check. So they were taking pictures of it, and he seemed happy in the moment. But when he came back to the table, he started talking about the low amount of the check.
Thanks, George. Good job. One more time, George.
George said, I can't believe that all I get is $100 after 5 years. His boss was a millionaire, and I think he just started to think about how he could get some of that money that he deserved.
Are you kidding me? I waited for 5 years.
Before I knew it, he was mumbling about robbing his boss.
$20 a year? Is that what I've really earned?
The owner of his company is busy at this party right now, so he's gonna go rob the home of the company owner. And then he ended up saying something to his buddy, and they took off.
Wait, where are you guys going?
I was waiting for him to come back. Like, what am I supposed to do at this work party alone? My brain was kind of going in circles about what he was up to. And when he came back, all he wanted to do is just go. And I was like, I thought he'd want to hang out at the party.
Come on, let's get out of here. Let's go get a drink somewhere else.
George, where did you get that?
It was always a weird feeling when George all of a sudden had stacks of money and I had no idea how he got it.
Don't worry about it.
I am pretty positive that George took the money from his boss's safe that night. And it's a crime that I don't think anyone really ever figured out. George kept a lot from me. I feel like he more than had a double life. He had like tons of lives.
Oh my god. Where have you been?
He would talk about robbing people, and I really didn't know what to think of it or how far he went. He started going to a hotel and just staying there for days and not telling me what was going on.
I haven't seen you in days.
He'd come back with a lot of money.
Where's that from?
Things are looking up.
I think that he was selling harder drugs than I was even aware of, and he was kind of in a gloating mood when he came back, and it was different than normal.
We should go out tonight.
I just was curious, like, what's going on? What's making you so happy?
There was a guy that kept getting in my way, but...
And he's like, this guy has been trying to step on my toes, and I won't have to worry about that anymore.
But that's over.
He's out of the way.
It's done.
Done?
He's not gonna be a problem anymore.
It ran across my mind, like, what do you mean he's out of the way? It made me think more that George might have done something.
You took care of it?
I was like, what do you mean he's out of the way? He said, mind your own business, or like, we don't need to go there. Like, you need to just trust me.
I don't understand.
Look, forget about it. It's not important.
George rationalized robbing drug dealers by the way of they were not good for society.
Look, I'm gonna go get cleaned up. You get dressed.
And that nobody probably even will notice if they're missing.
Let's go out and have ourselves a good time, okay?
I checked the news to see if anything came from a murder at the hotel that I knew he went to. And there was no mention of anything. I really don't know what he did.
Hey, you ready to go?
I don't know if he's like killed other drug dealers.
Yeah, let's go.
But I'm pretty sure he killed that guy. George and I got married in 2011. We knew each other about 4 years before we got married. I never got a proper proposal. He kind of just told me we were getting married. I never was the type that really wanted to get married, but I think I fell into that trap of when you reach a certain age and everyone you know is getting married. I felt a lot of social pressure to go the next step. He wanted us to get married on Halloween, and I thought that is a little creepy. He wanted kind of like a gothic wedding, like all black, and I just didn't want to invite my family to that, so we compromised and did a black and white wedding. Right before we got married, he had been going to AA, and he was, I thought, on the upside of not drinking anymore. I still had hopes and dreams that he was good. I thought, actually, that marriage would make us better, stronger. But just because you're married to someone doesn't mean that they will be less of a crappy person. As soon as he had the green light that we were married, most of his good behavior went away. A couple weeks after we got married, George came home with 2 teardrop tattoos on his face. George just walked in the front door and he's smiling.
Oh my god. George, what is that?
And I'm like, what's on your face? I'm like, is that marker?
Why, you don't like him?
Are you crazy?
George did not understand why I was at all shocked about his teardrop tattoos. Teardrop tattoos usually represent people that you've killed.
Have you killed someone?
What?
But he's like, there's different meanings for teardrops.
These are for my buddies in the army. I'm just paying my respects.
It doesn't mean he killed anybody. He got these teardrops for people he's lost. And I'm like, who? And he's like, oh, I have a couple friends that served in Iraq, and I got him to remember them. He had told me he was just waiting for the wedding pictures, so that it wasn't in the wedding pictures. It was fishy.
George, people are going to think you're a killer.
So? Let him. I don't care.
You don't care.
After George got the tattoos, a lot of people kind of look at him different. It looks like you're a murderer.
You don't care if people think you're a murderer.
Why should I?
One time we went into Speedway and the gas attendant was like, hey, you got those teardrops because you killed somebody or something? And he's like, do you want to find out? You want to be like the third one? That's not what you told me. I was left to not know what I was supposed to believe. Is what he's telling them true? And he's really dangerous? And who are these people that were important enough kills to put on his face?
Well, I hate them.
Too bad.
I don't know who those people might be. And I still am not sure if his teardrops were for the first 2 people he killed, or if it was just ones that he was particularly proud of, because I think he possibly could have killed people before that. But I stayed with George after that because I felt stuck. I was scared to leave him because anytime I threatened to leave him, he threatened to kill me. Shortly after George had been at a bar, there was a killing on the news.
Fighting broke out overnight between one.
Oh my god.
The news just explained that there was a bar fight and it was getting broken up by bouncers, and so some of the fight went outside of the bar and someone ended up getting stabbed that night.
George, come look at this.
They had some camera footage of all the people fighting each other, but they didn't have proof of who stabbed the guy in the parking lot. When I saw it on the news, I was pretty worried that George was involved because he'd had previous problems at that bar, and I just felt kind of sick to my stomach about it. I said, George, like, what happened that night?
Weren't you there last night?
And he's like, I don't know. He said that, yeah, some people might have went outside. I don't know who went outside. And I'm supposed to believe that.
Did you see what happened?
Not really.
When I asked him if he was going to be in trouble, he told me to shut up. He really didn't like that my brain wanted to pick it apart.
So, you were there, but you don't know what happened.
I was definitely concerned if I kept asking questions that he'd snap on me.
Turn that crap off. I'm sick of hearing about it.
Wondering if my husband had been part of a bar stabbing, I didn't feel safe with him anymore. David and George had been friends since 2nd grade. David was breaking up with his girlfriend, and it made sense for him to move in with us. We financially needed his help. He paid half the rent. David was a very sweet guy.
Hey man, you headed out?
Yeah, just grabbing a couple things from the store for Jen. You need anything?
For Jen?
He was very generous. He smiled a lot.
Shouldn't let her boss you around like that.
Just being nice.
But David and George had a interesting friendship where they kind of constantly talked crap to each other. But George always won. When George and David argued, it was almost always David backing down. He oftentimes got right in the middle of George and I's arguments.
And I told you to mind your own damn business, Jennifer!
When David would realize I wasn't getting a word in, he'd speak up for me.
You don't return my phone calls.
I can do whatever I want! If you don't like
Whoa,
that...
hey, guys.
He'd say, I think what Jen is trying to say is that.
Just take it easy, alright? Excuse me?
I appreciated when David stuck up for me very much. That is what made him my best friend in that time.
Was anyone talking to you?
But George hated it when David took my side.
Well, no, I just thought that maybe you should just shut the hell up.
George would just kind of get to a point where he'd be like, this is between me and her. Like, this is not your problem. Back up. Usually he just kind of tucked his tail and gave up. He would sense that it was pissing George off, and he'd eventually go to his room and kind of butt out.
Stay the hell out of it.
I think David knew when to back off because he felt a little bit threatened by him. George's behavior got worse and worse over time. George was very upset he was losing control over me. He was feeling like I was becoming a career woman who wouldn't need him, and he didn't want that. And he wasn't okay with me working at a safe house with women. I started as just a volunteer. I was doing assessments and helping other women find safe houses, and a lot of the questions made it clear to me that I'm a candidate for being in this safe house. I made a plan to move in with my sister, and when I moved out of the duplex, I let George and David stay there with my dog. I needed to get away. After I left George, he owed me quite a bit of money for phone bills I had paid for him. So George agreed to come over and give me money back for the phone bill that I had paid. As we were at the ATM, it seemed like he was shifting through a pile of cards.
Something wrong?
And was getting more and more pissed that none of them were working.
Come on, damn it.
Like punched it, said, come on, just give me the money. The way he was leaning on the machine, at one point, I wondered if he was trying to cover up the camera. I was definitely wondering, like, what he was trying to limit me from seeing.
Thing always giving me trouble.
He tried probably 10 cards. It was obvious that they weren't his. I don't know if he fails to realize you can't just steal people's cards with a PIN number.
George, where did you get them?
He was able to get me the $100.
What do you care?
And I was pretty concerned that he might have given me stolen money. He just said, well, you got your money, didn't you? I'm not sure how many people that stack of credit cards came from. Each one of those cards could have represented a different victim. It had been about a week since I had heard from David and George.
Hi, it's me again.
I reached out to George and he did not respond. And I tried to reach out to David and he did not respond. was really worried about the oddness of them not getting back to me.
Hi, David.
David usually gets right back to people.
Hey, it's me again.
I called George's mom to see if she had seen him.
Hi, I was just wondering if you've heard from him.
And she told me that the last time she saw him was on Thanksgiving. She said that he seemed a little bit depressed and that he left, and that was the last she had heard from him, and that he had a gun. And I started to get really worried. I did hear from one of David's friends that they couldn't find David and that they called David's phone and George answered and said that David went on a trip.
I just don't understand.
And it didn't make sense to this friend that he went on a trip because he was expected for Thanksgiving. I began to wonder, the two together, did something go wrong? I thought, what if George spent the rent money from David on drugs and David threatened to tell me about it? Or what in the world could it be? I did not know what the hell happened. And so I called my sister and she's like, we need to call the police. When I called the police, I said that I was worried about my husband being missing. That last I heard that he had a gun and that I need to get my dog back. And they said that they needed to meet me. When I got to the duplex, they said that this is a crime scene, and I did not know for what.
Sir, excuse me, sir, I have to get in to get my dog.
Hold on a moment.
While we were out front, the police were essentially asking if they had permission to search the duplex. And I said yes.
I need to ask you a few questions.
They needed to search before giving me my dog back.
Did you ever observe him getting violent toward anyone?
They were asking me if George, if I thought he was a dangerous person. And at that point, I never felt so ready to say, yes, he's dangerous.
Well, I know he's robbed people, and he's hinted at things.
I had to tell them that he was involved in selling drugs. I had to tell them that he had a bad temper. I had to tell them that he carried knives.
Okay, please come with me.
It was a big weight off my chest because I suppressed that for a very long time. When I first walked into the duplex, it smelled like bleach. The first thing I noticed was the windows were all open and there was no couch. The living room was oddly emptied out other than the scraps of bags of food that my dog found and got into. From my understanding of the crime scene, he had cut the carpet out so there was no blood, and then he cleaned up the bathroom so well with all the bleach that he put everywhere. He just left all the windows open because he was trying to air out the murder scene. But all I knew was I was walking through a crime scene and I did not know for what. There was really not much evidence left behind as far as what they could see. I was able to walk through and get my dog and bring her into the backyard. And they said they might be in there investigating for a day. You might as well just take off and the detectives will be in touch with you. I really wanted to believe that George killed himself and that somehow David tried to stop him and got hurt. I definitely didn't expect what did happen. I found out what George did when he turned up on the news.
36-year-old George Izaguirre turned himself into police Tuesday after walking to the Home Depot in Wyoming and admitting he stabbed 2 people, including his roommate.
The reason that George gave for killing David was that David said something that upset him, so he waited till he went to sleep and then he killed him. I thought that they said that he stabbed him seven times, and then I found out from the news it was 71. That's so many stabbings. That's like more than a minute of stabbing.
He then turned himself in Tuesday morning after also allegedly killing another friend, 63-year-old Ed Fuller.
Izaguirre admitted to stabbing Fuller to death while attempting to rob him in Fuller's Kentwood home. He then used Fuller's credit cards at numerous businesses.
They said to George, "Would you kill again?" He said, "Yeah." I'm pretty sure that yes is me. When he got transferred to prison, he would call me repeatedly. I did not answer any of George's phone calls. I'm not sure why he wanted to talk to me so badly or what he thought he could say to me. He just wrote me the one letter. He said that I can't ever take the memories. He understands I won't talk to him no matter how much he reaches out, but he will sit there and just think of me and live in the memory of me, and that I can't control that. I visited the jail to serve divorce papers, but I did not see him, and he refused to sign the divorce papers. He would not divorce me. It took 8 months. In May of 2021, I got a call from the prison saying that they had regretted to inform me that George has taken his life. I felt really pissed off. I felt like he's a coward that should have just killed himself sooner. And I feel really mean saying that. I just felt like he could have done that in the first place so that other people wouldn't have been killed. It just made me so pissed for David's family that there's no justice for him to do what he did and then do that anyways. It's so cowardly. But I just really feel like the world is safer with him gone, and so George is better off dead. I lived with a killer, and now I have nothing but questions about how many things he did. I have a really bad feeling that George killed more people than what we're aware of. It's really hard to think about how many people could have been affected now that they have his DNA and know the way he did the killings that we are aware of. I would like to know if more has come to the surface that's connected to him. It's really not fair that he could just take it to the grave with him.